Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We are painting California Sunset today in the style of Ryan Fox, sort of in the style of Ryan Fox, because he's using a technique called watercolor batik, which I think involves wax. I haven't done it myself, although maybe I will give that a try at some point just because I like to try new things. But we're going to do it on Masa paper. This is the photograph from which I'm working. And this is a sample painting that I did last night and this morning. So this is how it starts. This is a piece of Masa paper. It has a rough side and it has a slick side with sizing. I almost always, because I am going to try it on the other side next week, paint with the rough side. And I put a little T on it to remind me, because once it gets wet, sometimes you can't really tell. This is a backing board. It's actually part of an MO11 mat, which I buy at Stu Art. Very inexpensive and great for classes. So if I have any teachers watching, it's called MO11 and it's at a place called Stu Art in New York. So what I'm going to do first is take a spray bottle and just spray my paper just a little bit. It's not sopping wet. And then I do the other side, both sides. And it's wet. And now the fun part is just to crinkle this up. And I wish in the last one I did, I tried to crinkle it so that I kind of crinkled it so it was like wave pattern, but nah, it wasn't very successful. So I'm just gonna just crinkle this paper just into a little wad, just like this. I'll tell you who's really good at this is Rosalind Powell. She is really good crinkler. So she crinkles. She just really makes sure it's all crinkled like that. She puts her crinkles in. They're everywhere. She's a good crinkler. You have to be gentle, but as long as you're crinkling it, but this paper is very delicate. You have to treat it very, very gently. Pulling on it, just really gently. So I can't even tell what the top and the bottom are anymore, but I do have that T. So the next thing I'm going to do is put the glue down here. I drew a square where the paper goes. So, because so many times I'll put my paper so it's like here to here, and then the mat doesn't cover it. Then you've got problems, you gotta cut it and get it to work, blah, blah, blah. So I go right over that, the pencil line. I want the glue to go clear out to the edge and then just get it everywhere. This glue has a little bit of water in it so that I'm gonna take my 3/4 inch flat brush and get it wet. And smooth out the glue. This might be a lot of glue, but when I did it last night, I didn't put enough glue down and it wouldn't stick. So I think maybe half of this, half between what I put last night and this is probably a good amount. I think I may have overdone it. And you have to wash your brush out or you'll glue it down and that'll be the end of your $20 brush. That is a lot of glue. I don't want that to just soak right through my paper. So I'm really rinsing my brush out because I really don't want to ruin my brush. Now I'm going to take my paper, make sure that it is going to go cover all those lines. And I just start to press it down. And there's kind of a fine line between pressing it totally flat and getting rid of all the wrinkles and maybe having too many wrinkles. So today I'm going to go on the side of pressing it a little more flat. So I'm kind of starting in the middle and working my way out. And I don't want to get glue on the top of my paper. And I don't want it to fold over on each other. I can have a whole bunch of wrinkles kind of making little mountains, but you don't want it to fold over. And I always like it when the edges are glued down. Sometimes I have to lift it up and put a little more glue underneath the corners. But I used a lot of glue today.
If we get a tiny bit of glue on the paper, does it make a big difference?
No.
Okay, good.
Fine. Start adding the paint. The color that I'm going to start with is raw sienna. I like to start with raw sienna because it's a very heavy pigment. So it really settles into the paper and the other colors will kind of float on it. So that's, look, it looks like a batik, just this paper does. Isn't that amazing? It does that, the little wrinkles and the little, all of that. I'm just going to bring this, so that's going to be where my horizon line is, but I'm going to bring this raw sienna down over the whole painting. I am going to try to leave a couple little white flecks. I'm not going to have those perfect little lines that Ryan was able to get. Because he put wax to keep the paper white.
Mm.
I'm just going to try to leave a few highlights. Okay, so there's the raw sienna, and now I'm going to just right into that same puddle add Hands of Yellow Medium or Bumblebee, so that you have that beautiful yellow, transparent yellow. And to that yellow, I'm going to add Permanent Rose to make that wonderful orange. Oh, you can't see my palette. There it is. So raw sienna, Hands of Yellow Medium or Bumblebee, and Permanent Rose. Oh, I love the orange that makes. Orange is so hard, and then to make it like this, so easy. Okay, I'm gonna go right over it now. I'm gonna start here in the sky. Oh, that's pumpkin. That's pumpkin festival orange, Chris.
For sure.
That is some orange there. Holy Toledo. I'm gonna go for it. It's just a piece of paper. I'm just gonna try to get this paper just full. I'm gonna try to use a lot of paint today. I am, on this part, I'm using the side of my brush so that it's getting the tops of all the crinkles and then leaving some white areas. And then down here at the bottom, I'm just going back and forth more so that it's more solid and doesn't leave the white. Like this would be the wet sand and not have little white areas. My next color is going to be burnt sienna. I love all my colors. I love all these colors. But this is another one that I love. I'm going to not put that in my sky too much. Maybe a little bit of clouds. Burnt sienna clouds. Now I'm going into my water.
Hi.
You know what this is reminding me of, Chris?
What's that?
That orange day.
The what?
The orange day.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The day my husband died.
Yeah.
You're right. It does look like that.
So he's here with us too. Shar, did your skies turn orange one day?
I you mean, was it around the eclipse?
It was in September of last year.
Oh, I don't remember. I was probably at work.
It's during the fires. It was from all the smoke.
Oh, there were some unusual skies during that time. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm making purple now with permanent rose and French ultramarine blue. Because in this photograph up at the corner, the top right-hand corner, I see just this little bit of purple, and I think that sky, my sky is kind of boring. So what the heck? I'm gonna add some purple. If I put a little purple there, I better have a little purple over here too. And then I better have some more. It has to be at least one other place, but I'm really thinking I want to put it down in the sand. Oh, this is so much more fun than last night's painting. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Oh, I like it. The purple on the top down here. Yeah, this is much better, brighter than that pale thing I did earlier. Oh yeah. You have to be very gentle because you can just rub the top of this paper right off.
I noticed that.
The rock's going to go in there. I'm just putting some darks below where I know that rock's going to go. Okay. If I put my rock in while it's sopping wet like this, it's just going to blur up into the sky and it's not going to be a good rock. So I'm going to dry this. I dried this with the blow dryer. You know what? I didn't get it totally 100% dry. It's still kind of damp. So I may get some blurring. What I'm going to do now is add in this rock here. Looks like the rock at Martin's Beach or maybe at Pyramid Lake. The name of this painting is called California Sunset. Maybe it's Morro Bay. That's kind of what that looks like. Evelyn used to say, I paint it, you name it. So that's burnt sienna that I just did. And I'm going to add some French ultramarine to it to darken it from my rock. Oh, that's very dark. Not that dark. I'm using my pencil brush. All right, take a big breath. Figure out where I'm going to put it. I'm going to put it right here because I kind of have a spot there. Just, I don't want to make this a perfect triangle. It's got to be a little different on both sides. Although it's pretty, the picture has it pretty symmetrical. We'll fill it in. Darker on the right side, although if this were a sunset, I don't know that it would do that. Put a little bit of that purple in. Oh, I like that. It's sort of. I'm just going to make this rock bigger and bigger and bigger. It looks like it has something that comes out over here. Down over the white part here. Coming into the water. Yeah, I got a nice big rock now. Now there's going to be reflections in the water, so I want it nice and dark with burnt sienna and French ultramarine blue. I'm just going to make little lines under it, and like I said, my paper is just a slight bit damp still, so I don't think it's damp where I'm painting right now, though. The little streaky things right below the rock. I like these dark, this dark area here. It just feels too, my reflections, it seems too perfect. I'm just going to smudge it up a bit. Ugh, I don't want that perfect feel. That's better. Dark. There's some rocks in the water over here. Can't really tell what these things are. I can hear my neighbor's chickens. I like these. Not sure what these darks are. Ripples in the waves? And now my super brave part. Making really, really thick, dark pigment with French ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. Throw a little of my purple in there. When it's almost black. I'm going to use my pencil brush. And I'm going to twirl it in my palette so that I have a really nice point. This brush has a really nice point. And now I have to decide where they're going to go. I made this part kind of dark over here, so I feel like I don't want to put it right where my fingers are. I want to move it over just a little bit. This is where I'm going to put my figures, right where my finger is. I'm going to point to it. Right here, their feet are going to be in right here. Their heads are going to be up here. And the heads are like little gumdrops. I can always make a bigger head. Easy to do that. There's my first head. Oh, so brave. And now I don't paint the neck. I just put the shoulders on. Slopey shoulders. Kind of a triangle shape. Make my circle a little bigger so it connects. Now the legs. Legs are pretty skinny. I made a fat leg. Ah! I told you to make skinny legs. I made a fat leg. and I made a bumpy leg. All right, well, that's a figure. I'm going to make this side a little bit wider, like there's an arm. All right, now I'm making a little smaller figure. Same thing, little head. Little like triangular shape. This person might have a bigger coat on. It's more like a rectangle. And the knee, the leg. I'm laughing because if you could see it carefully, these legs look like chicken legs. I tried to. Now I made it fat. Keep your legs skinny. We could have a little hand. We could have holding hands. We could have fishing poles. And then I want to have dark reflections under them in the sand. And really just planting them just with some brush strokes, long brush strokes. They're looking out there. I don't know what they see. I'm just putting some dark streaks, like the waves are catching the light, but then there some dark shadows. The waves will have shadows. And making a little more of that dark color. Put a few more darks. Oh. What I'm going to do, I'm going to sign my name with this brush. Put it right in here. The mats cover up quite a bit of this, so I want to put my name up pretty high. I'm going to try to just paint it. I don't often paint my name, but I'm trying to paint it with the two bristles at the end of my brush. That's the dark paint. It's surprising. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
The colors are gorgeous. I like that you put it in the mat. Lift it up just a little bit. Oh, your sand is gorgeous. And I like your figures kind of bent over like,
They look very real.
yes. And your rock is good. And I like the like little lines coming up. Oh, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful, Shar.
Thank you.
Your rock is gorgeous. I love the lights and the darks. You kept, some lights in your sky and lights in the ocean. And your figures are very interesting. Kind of like one's a nude female and one is,
It's supposed to be an adult and a child.
yeah. No,
But they blurred a little bit too.
They're very interesting to look at. So the composition of the painting is very nice. Your colors are gorgeous.
Thank you.
Oh,
Oh, your purples and oranges are beautiful together. And I love your figures and the reflection in this wet sand of your figures. That is simple and beautiful. Your lights and darks are beautiful. Such a good job.
Did it in blue. Nice.
Oh, look at you.
Wow.
oh, I'm not too much on browns and oranges, so
Yeah, so you did purples and with the red sunset and blue and green. Yes. And your figures are a little smaller and they look appropriate. So they make the rock a lot bigger out there. But we can have a big rock out there. Beautiful. Yeah, really nice. You signed your name.
it's really difficult paper.
Nice.
Beautiful colors.
Wow.
Yeah. Your purples are gorgeous. All of the wrinkles and leaving the lights that you did are beautiful. I like your figures. I like how they're standing in the sand. And then your little, your mountain has kind of a Chinese mountain feel to it.
She can't get away from it.
Yeah.
That is a beautiful painting. Very nice. Love life, have
Oh,
faith.
That's
Oh, it's beautiful,
isn't
Chris.
that nice? Yeah.
I love the dragonfly.
So how did you make the ink lines without them running?
I drew on the paper before I painted, and I
Oh.
used the flat, soft side, not
Mm.
the rough one.
Hmm.
And it
So
worked
you did it and then you wrinkled it after you drew it
right,
and then smoothed it back out?
right.
Wow. Cool.
Uh,
That's what we're doing next.
Beautiful.
That's really nice.
Yeah.
So
that-
I experimented for you, Mary Kay. It works well.
All right, we're doing that next week with our next piece of paper.
That's which ink pen?
Thank you for joining us on YouTube. Very fun painting.